The Sharks had their grittiest, guttiest performance on Saturday night in a win over the Vancouver Canucks. We're going to break down that game, look at what the stats say, and check in on the Cuda who have been struggling as of late, and try to break down what is happening there in with the Barracuda and how they can try to turn things around here. So all that and more on today's episode.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello. Welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is Tank Commander JD Young. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly a part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you got to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And on today's show, like I said, we're going to be discussing the Sharks' gritty win over the Canucks, dig into the numbers, look at how the kind of new lines performed against this very, very good Canucks team, and then get in, kind of look at how the Barracuda's weekend went as they dropped both their games against the Ontario Reign. Before we do all that, I know tonight the Sharks do take on the Caps. And if you want to watch every hit, every shot from the home, or if you want to catch every hit, every shot from the hometown broadcast, you can do that on the Sirius XM, on this SXM app, search Sharks. And do also want to let you know today's episode is brought to you guys by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app, use promo code LOCKEDONNHL to get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. So the Sharks, a very nice 4-3 win over the Canucks. Made you sweat, as you would expect with every Sharks game this year, making you sweat down the end as they held on to the lead. But you got to see some pieces there, kind of coming together. And this was the Mikael Granlund game. This was the game where, like, okay, this is what Mikael Granlund can do. And Mikael Granlund was on fire on Saturday night. Of course, the coast-to-coast goal that's going on the year on highlight reel, that goal was absolutely beautiful. But you saw he kind of was feeling it. And maybe he's finally kind of fully healthy, kind of fully integrated into the system, getting used to playing with his line mates. And Mikael Granlund was great on Friday night. We need to see more of that. Saturday night. You need to continue to see that from Mikael Granlund if the Sharks want to continue to kind of build this foundation. And I know Mikael Granlund won't be here in a couple of years, and maybe won't even be here by the trade deadline. But having him again playing with some of these younger guys, like he's playing with Zetterlund and we'll get into how that line performed. But just having competent centers makes your life so much easier, right? We've seen Hertl's had an amazing year this year, and it's been a lot of kind of trying to figure out the center position behind him, especially with Logan Couture being out. And if Granlund can, I don't expect this for Granlund every night, but if he can, continue to play good hockey, it's just going to make your life easier as you try to develop some of these younger players. So that way you can bring in the guys like Gushin and Bordelot and, continue to have William Eklund play well, because you have good center play. It's so important having good center play, because it just, again, it makes your life so much easier around you, where, everyone can kind of fill into what they're supposed to do. And you're not having these young guys kind of maybe having to do more than they're supposed to. If you just have good center depth, and having Mikael Granlund play like this, again, maybe not coast to coast on a piece of toast every night, but, just having him play well is going to do so much for the Sharks as they continue to try to, put something together. Again, not expecting a playoff or anything, but playing competent hockey, right? That's the goal right now, is to just play competent, play hard every night, play competent. And the Sharks did this. They actually, for the first half of this game, was outplaying Vancouver, especially at 5-on-5. We'll get to the numbers here in a little bit, but for the first two periods, the Sharks were outplaying Vancouver, and then Vancouver really put the pedal to the metal as they were trying to come back in the third period. But that's what you want to see, right? Especially a team that 3 weeks ago beat the doors off you and then a 10-1. And then, they beat you again last week in Vancouver. And that game wasn't really even that. It was kind of competitive, but, we saw Vancouver kind of put the game away when they needed to. And it was good to see the Sharks play with the lead and kind of learning from those experiences of playing with the lead. So, but some of the guys who I think really stood out. Let's start with the yard sale, of course, the big kind of scrum. And it was interesting to see, Calen Addison taking a hit from Elias Pettersson, and borderline dirty hit or not. I mean, you can, if you ask Sharks fans, they're going to say it's a dirty hit. If you ask Canucks fans, they're going to say it's a clean hit. And that's just kind of the way it is. I would probably lean more towards it was a clean hit. Elias Pettersson he's not a dirty player. But, Matt Benning comes in, tries and sticks up for his teammate, and what Matt Benning did was a little dirty with the cross check in the back. But then everybody kind of coming together then Calen Addison just not stop talking, willing to go and drawing the 10-minute misconduct there. But Addison's play has really improved recently. And now that he's gotten used to the system, kind of gotten acclimated. And you can see, especially on the power play on Friday looked great. The power play was 1 for 2 on Saturday. You can see the power play is starting to come together right now. And that is because you have a guy like Calen Addison who can run the power play. And that's good. Again, playing competent hockey, having an actual NHL power play unit out there, it's going to do wonders for this team, right? We can say RIP to the 5-4 unit now, because the power play just looks so much better with Calen Addison out there running it. And, thanks to Kyle Burroughs trying his best and everything out there and some of the other guys, but just good to see some of it looking better and looking like a professional unit, right? And you're starting to see that's coming together. And, I know David Quinn said they've been working on kind of that quickness with it, that puck movement, like boom, 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 get the puck moving and don't just kind of sit there. And you're seeing that come to fruition now, is that, like, don't just hold on to the puck. Don't just dust it off. Like, keep the puck moving, keep the puck moving, keep the puck moving. And then that's led to a lot of their success, especially in the offensive zone, not only on the power play, but just in general, like just this team's ability to, again, look like an NHL team right now at not even full games. Just can we get string together a couple good shifts of looking like an NHL team? And you're starting to see that, especially from the top 6 guys. And Mike Hoffman kind of coming alive here, and Mikael Granlund playing well. Those are going to be big pieces for the Sharks moving forward at the trade deadline, or just, again, looking like a competent team. So some other performance, shout out Ty Emerson, first career NHL goal. Good for him. He's been playing really, really well for the Sharks, and I think he's starting, again, getting acclimated, especially as a guy who came in late during training camp. It's been kind of a mess. So we'll see if he can continue it going forward. I think he should be an every night NHL player for the Sharks, because, this season's about growing and developing some of these young guys. So, but overall, I think just the way this team kind of stuck together, fought, and kind of ground out this win, right? It's not going to be a lot of flashy. When they do win, it's not going to be a lot of flashy wins. I know that they had a 5-1 win over the Blues, and that kind of felt like a boiling over game where you've been kind of waiting and everything just kind of finally came together. But the wins they get are probably going to be a lot of these gritty, gutty, like 3-2, 4-3 type of wins where you're having to play good hockey down the stretch and hold on to a lead. I don't see this team coming back from a lot of games, but holding on to leads, kind of building your lead early and then trying to hold on. That's going to be kind of their recipe and their key to success. And I think you can point to, going back way in the offseason, if you wanted to see how the team could get better, having a good penalty kill, which the penalty kill has been better recently. Playing playing good special teams. You're seeing the power play starting to come together, and then just kind of hanging there at 5-on-5. And that's what the Sharks have been doing the past couple, the last 2 games, right? Not the Kraken game, but the last 2 games against a bad team in the Canadians, but then a very good team in the Canucks. And they play the Caps on Friday before on Monday before a very long East Coast road trip. So they need to kind of continue that especially against the Caps team that has been, again, playing better as well. So we'll get into what the numbers say for this game, and then we'll talk about the Barracuda here in just 1 second. If you run a solo small business, you're an army of one, but you still need a CPA, bookkeeper, separate payroll solution, and more, let Collective take care of the paperwork while you take care of business. Collective is the number one financial solution for freelancers, contractors, and self-employed entrepreneurs that let you focus on your passion, not your paperwork. Let Collective handle all the paperwork you dread, like corporate formation, compliance, taxes, bookkeeping, accounting, even payroll. The best part is a fraction of the cost of a CPA. Collective knows if you're a business of one, makes over $80,000 a year, you'll find the most value from the services. So join the thousands of solopreneurs who are saved an average of $10,000 per year on taxes with their structure. Right now, Collective is offering a 1 month free, no onboarding fee if you go to collective.com/lockedon and tell them Locked On NHL sent you. That's $550 value for free when you go to collective.com/lockedonnhl and tell them Locked On NHL sent you. That's collective.com/lockedonnhl. Tell them Locked On NHL sent you. All right, so let's dig into the numbers for this Sharks game. So again, Sharks outplayed the Canucks for a good portion of this game, and then kind of around the beginning of the third period, Vancouver really put it on as they're trying to come back in this game. And they did make it very, very close at the end there, but so we had 49 minutes 26 seconds of 5v5 time, 50 to 41 shot attempts. Actual shots for was 22 to 19, both those in favor of the Canucks. Scoring chances for 24 to 24, high danger chances 13 to 8. But again, a lot of the Canucks damage really coming in the third period when they were down. The 21 shot attempts, the Sharks 8 in the third period, 9 to 6 scoring chances, 5 to 3 high danger chances. Again, this team in the third period really trying to kind of come back. Expected goals for was 2.31 to 1.47. And again, the third period where the Canucks, they had basically expected goal for in the third period at 5v5 as they were pushing to tie this thing up. So forward lines, we had Eklund, Hertl, Hoffman, Zadina, Granlund, Duclair. Then we also had doesn't really have the third line out there of Sturm, McDonald, and then Luke Cunnin. I guess they didn't really play enough ice time at 5v5. That's weird. And then you had Giovanni Smith, Ryan Carpenter, and Kevin LeBanc as your fourth line. And Eklund, Hertl, Hoffman line played well. So 12 of 4, 13 shot attempts for, gave up 12, 4 to 4 shots for. They did have a goal for as well. Expected goals for was 0.5 to 0.77, so pretty close there. 7 to 6 scoring chances, 2 to 5 high danger chances, so a little bit tough on the high danger chances. And mostly offensive zone starts with 9-3-3. Zetterlund, Granlund, Duclair played 11-1, 8 to 9 shot attempts, 3 to 5 in favor of the Canucks of shots on goal, 0.18 to 0.15 expected goals, 6 to 3 scoring chances, 2 to nothing high danger chances, and then they mostly started in their own zone. So it's good to see that they're starting in their own zone and they're getting the puck out of the zone and kind of getting things going. And I think a lot of it has to do with Granlund playing really well and Zetterlund. Every line Zetterlund has been on this year, that line is instantly better. He's been very, very good this year for the Sharks, and we've talked about Zetterlund at length on this show, but you can really see the way he's playing with confidence and just makes his line mates better because of just the guy just plays with his hair on fire all the time. There was a picture of him scoring the goal, and he looked like he was about to burst like a vein because of just how excited he was. So Smith, Carpenter, and LeBanc played 5-31, 5 to 7 shot attempts, 3 to 3 actual shots on goal, 0.38 to 0.24 expected goals for, 3 to 4 scoring chances in favor of the Canucks, and 2 to 3 high danger chances, and they neutral to offensive zone starts for them. So pretty solid again for a Canucks team that really likes to kind of control the puck and push the pace. This line played really the lines played really well tonight or on Saturday night. And we'll see with Zadina how long Zadina is out. They say day to day. So we'll see if he's out there on Monday, or if maybe they wait till, because then they don't play again until Thursday in Boston. So maybe give him a couple days to kind of get healthy. That'd be almost a week for him to kind of get healthy. And they didn't practice on Sunday, so we don't know anything about the line. So let's look at the defensemen. And again, Matt Benning had the best Corsi for at 5v5. So 14 to 14 shot attempts, 50%. Their expected goals for when Matt Benning 0.37 to 0.7. So kind of a little bit, giving up maybe a little bit more high danger chances there. Mario Ferraro played his Corsi for was 48.15. Expected goals for 0.3 to 0.72, kind of the same thing there. Kyle Burrows 18 to 20. Kyle Burrows also had a massive hit on the side there too. So 18 to 20 shot attempts with Burrows on the ice, 1.06 to 0.94, so positive expected goals for there. Calen Addison 11 to 14 shot attempts, 6 to 8 actual shots, 0.26 to 1 expected goal allowed. So maybe not the best defensively right there, but you live with it. And then Ty Emberson 14 to 19, so Corsi for 42%, 0.29 to 1.01 expected goals. And then Vlasic 12 to 18 shot attempts, 40% Corsi, 0.66 to 0.24 expected goals. Is Vlasic back? Question mark? Probably not. But so I mean the defense not too bad. I think you can point to a lot of, I thought the Emberson goal was really nice. Maybe the stats didn't really weren't in very much in Addison's favor. I really like the way Addison played that night, especially on the power play. I think that's where you can really kind of see what he's been doing there on the power play. And then Kaapo Kähkönen's night. I think which goal? There was one goal the first goal was a little bit leaky, where he checked behind. He probably wants that one back. But overall, I mean, I think Kaapo Kähkönen played really well tonight as well. Or Saturday, I keep saying tonight. So 59-30 time on ice for Kaapo Kähkönen, 33 shots, 30 saves, 3 goals against. Expected goals against is 4.3. So another positive night. 909 save percentage, 303 goals against. Faced 10 high danger shots, made 9 high danger saves, 10 mid danger, made 8 mid danger saves, and then 13 for 13 on the low danger shots. So, I mean, that's the formula, right? Try to get a lead, kind of hold out, play good special teams, and then, try to squeak out a win there. So, and hope your goaltenders continue to be special. And both the goalies have been really good this year. I know if you look at the save percentage stuff, they don't look that great. But if you've been watching this team, these guys have been under siege every game, night in, night out. And I think the goalies have really played well. And Sharks will definitely have some trade offers, I would assume, for Blackwood and or Kaapo Kähkönen. And I think they're going to have to, they might have to make some decisions if they want to keep one or both of them going forward, because I think you might have really found something with Blackwood and Kaapo Kähkönen. So, that was a good win for the Sharks. So, I know people a little worried about the tank, especially with a 2 point. Now there's 2 points between the Sharks and Chicago, but the Sharks haven't won a road game, and they're playing a ton of East Coast teams here, including the Bruins. I know they're playing the Rangers. They're playing like the Devils, the Islanders. Like they're playing a lot of very good competitive teams here soon. So, they'll be. It's probably going to be a long 2 weeks for them here. So, before we get to the Cuda and talk about what they kind of need to do to get things back on track here, I just need to take a quick break. Talk to you about our good friends over at Sleeper. The new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities. The Sharks could maybe score 50 goals combined. The Sharks could definitely be in the running for the number one draft pick. And you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is the number one choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. All you got to do is just pick either your favorite players or stars. So if you want to pick like McDavid, Ovechkin, Crosby, or you can pick like Hertl, Slippery Pete, whoever you want to root for that night. And then just record more or less of their sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus, minus, and more in a given game. To win 100 times bet on Sleeper, you just need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me, Sharks fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleepers. So start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability. All right, so the Barracuda have been struggling, and let's start with the positives before we kind of dig into it, I think. And I think for the positives, the defense has really started to come together, and I think you can see a much better structure from the defense. And I think the goaltenders have been playing the three-headed monsters between Eetu Makiniemi, who played this weekend, Georgi Romanov and Magnus Krona. And I think the goalies have been playing really well for the most part. I think the Sharks, you can kind of look at the Sharks goalie pipeline and the remake that they've done of it in the past 2 years, and kind of point and be like, oh, there might be a little bit of hope here with the Sharks goalies. But I think the defensive structure has been much better. They're not there's the occasional 2-on-1 or kind of breakaway goals, but I feel like those have gone way down recently. But the problem with the Barracuda right now is they're just not scoring enough goals. If you want to look to the one area where I think it's really killing them, it's the power play. And the Sharks, we've seen the power play get better recently as guys have kind of gotten healthy and kind of gotten, acclimated to the system. With the Barracuda, the power play has been abysmal. Friday's game against the Reign, when they lost 3-0, they went 0-for-2 on the power play, and it looked okay-ish at times. Saturday's game against the Reign, when they lost 4-2, they went 0-for-5 on the power play. And if you're given 5 power play opportunities and you don't score one, that is a massive red flag. And the power play, it had its moments on Saturday, but again, like this power play needs to start kind of clicking here soon. And one move I would really like to see is moving Shakir Mukhamadullin off the second unit onto the first unit. Right now Henry Thrun's on the first unit, and I just think Mukhamadullin is a more dynamic offensive defenseman, if that makes sense. I think he's just able to kind of create more when he is kind of running the power play. And that would be one move I'd like to see. I think you still have a lot of the good pieces there between Bordeleau and Gushin and Bailey, and then Castles. Like, all the rest of the pieces make a lot of sense, right? And they did get some really good looks, especially Bordeleau, I think, had some really nice looks as well. But I would like to see Shakir Mukhamadullin, who I think can do a little bit more to kind of read the play and find guys and kind of keep the puck moving, and maybe not as little kind of meat and potato-y, if that makes sense, as Henry Thrun is. I think Henry Thrun's a little bit more of a kind of just keep it going, but maybe not as dynamic. I think Shakir Mukhamadullin can be more dynamic. He's not Erik Karlsson back there doing kind of crazy stuff. I think he can do a little bit more to kind of make those cross ice passes instead of just kind of over here. Let me, let's switch off. I think he can be a little bit more dynamic. And I think that's what the power play needs right now, is because it's been bad. And this isn't just the past 2 games. Right now, they are 30th out of 32 AHL teams at 12.5% on the power play. That's not very good. They've had 64 power play opportunities, and they've only scored 8 goals. So even if you just look at the raw numbers, 8 goals is 28th in the league. And they've given up 3 shorthanded goals. So you're at 5, to be honest. So, and the power play, they're getting a fair amount of power play. They're kind of middle of the pack with power play opportunities, with 64 in 16 games. But again, you cannot, if this team wants to be a playoff team, and it's getting it's getting late, kind of early here, right? Early, yeah. This team needs to go on a run here if they need to string together multiple wins, and they haven't even been able to win 2 games in a row this season. Like, they need to start stringing together a good long winning streak to get things going. And you hear from the Sharks, like, yes, we want our AHL guys to learn how to win before you come up and start to win games in the NHL. But right now, the Barracuda are 8th in the division, and they are 6 points back from a playoff spot. I think if the top 7 get in from the Pacific, if I remember correctly. So they're 6 points back from a playoff spot, and Coachella has a game in hand right now. And they do play Coachella this week, so it's a big opportunity for them to kind of, make up some ground there. But like this, you don't want to be the team that just kind of squeaks in, and then you got to play like the Reign or the Canucks early. You want to kind of be a little bit more in the middle of the pack, and you got to start winning some games here. And I think a big emphasis needs to be the power play. And I'd like to see if they go to Shakir Mukhamadullin, who's going to be one of your hopefully defensive stars of the future. Give him an opportunity, because I think we saw last year he kind of really injected some life into the power play at the end of the season. But I think it starts there. I think Shakir Mukhamadullin running the point can make this power play more dangerous, because you got to do something. You can't just keep, you can't go out there and try to win games when you're going 0 for 5 on the power play. So the forwards, though, I think it's if it's not the power play, I think it feels very much, if kind of the big names aren't producing, they're struggling. And Brandon Coe's been, started the season really good, but he's, kind of tailed a little bit. I know he scored the other night, last week, but, if it's not Bordelot, if it's not Gushin, it feels like it's nobody else right now. And so I think that's a big thing. You need to get some more depth scoring, and you need to get the power play going. I think if you can do that, keep your defensive structure and hopefully continue getting good play from the goalies. I think there's still a lot of things to like here about the Barracuda, and I think they can go on a run, but you got to start going now. It's go time for the Barracuda to really figure something out. So they going forward. So what is their schedule here right now? If I what do they play? So I know they've got a couple games coming up this weekend. Why am I struggling to find their schedules? There we go. So got some games coming up this weekend. Who are they playing? So they play Coachella on Wednesday. So that's a big game for them if they can let's try to make up some ground. You're playing Tucson, who's just a little bit ahead of you. Henderson, who's been much better. You got like a nice homestand coming up middle of December between Henderson, Calgary, and Tucson before you play Bakersfield and Henderson again right around the kind of Christmas time. So you need to take advantage of these home games, and stealing this week, if they can go 2 for 3, right? Win a game, beat if you can split with Tucson, and then you beat Coachella on Wednesday. Then come home, maybe try to string some wins together. So that's going to be it for me today. We'll be back tomorrow to recap the Caps game, and then on Wednesday we've already hit the kind of quarter poll. We've 25% of the season's done. So we'll kind of dig into some of the numbers, some of the performances from this year, and kind of project ahead of what we can expect to see from the Sharks. And then Thursday, we'll probably dig into some prospect film as some of the guys I've been watching and get some updated takes and what I've seen from some guys recently. So plenty of good stuff coming here at Locked On Sharks. Make sure you guys are following wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. When you're done listening to this, go check out the Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. So Locked On Sports Today has you covered 24/7, covering the top sports stories on the day with local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. You can also follow Locked On Sharks wherever on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. You can follow me on Twitter at MyFryhole. Till tomorrow. Bye, friends.